Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of the Ignition Zone pre-race show presented by the Collegiate iRacing League. Excited to have you along for what should be another thrilling night of Garage Shop College Cup Series action. And tonight's a special one for everyone here at the CIO. Last week marked 100 points-paying races in the history of the College Cup Series. And tonight begins the first of 100 more here at Darlington. Before we get to that, I want to introduce myself and the team here tonight. With me is Brad Daniels up here in the booth. Producer Christian Hill back behind the scenes. I'm Alex Gagnon, welcoming you in to tonight's pre-race coverage, the cutoff race for the round of 8 to advance to for the round of 12 to advance to the round of 8. That is what's at stake here tonight, Brad. 4 drivers going to be going home. Going to be a wild one, I have no doubt. But first, how are you doing tonight? How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, Alex. I mean, Darlington is going to offer up a lot of opportunity for a lot of these cutoff guys. I mean, we had a couple guys not show up last week, so this is really a win-and-in situation for them. But I think, Darlington is just such a unique track. I'm ready for anything to happen because I feel like the CIO always presents something new that I didn't expect ever in my life.
Yeah, no better combo than a series that's unpredictable with a track that's unpredictable, quite like Darlington. We've seen some really phenomenal races here in the CIO too, which also makes tonight at least something that I'm really excited for. I mean, I think that Season 7 race with that great finish, Season 10 last year had a great run, only 2 cautions the whole night. I mean, there's been some fun ones here, but before we get too much into that, let's take a look at the schedule to this point and how we got to this moment in time. Coming into Darlington for tonight's Centennial Challenge 201, presented by Weston Video and Media. We'll get to them in just a moment. But you can see on the schedule here, folks, Darlington getting toward the end, getting toward the home stretch of this season. Only 3 races after tonight: Phoenix, Bristol, and Vegas for the championship. Darlington, though, the last mile and a half before we reach the championship race at Vegas, Brad. It's gonna be interesting to see, because even though this is a kind of mile and a half, I think it's usually talked about in that same group with all the others. There's not another one out there like it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, this is the most difficult track, in my opinion, to navigate consistently. I mean, Road Atlanta obviously was just a new drive for everyone in the series in these cars. But, I mean, Darlington is always, you have to be so consistent and always just on your, on the right track to get yourself on the podium even. So, yeah, looking ahead, I mean, the Phoenix, Bristol, you got 2 short tracks and then ending up at one of the fastest and most creative courses, I think, Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a fun run to the finish here to determine this year's champion. But that's how we've gotten to this point. We talked a little bit about last week's race at Watkins Glen, the opener to the round of 12. Crazy one, a lot of accidents. Not only, I mean, there was a decent bit of action throughout the field, a couple of full race yellows, but mostly, I mean, a couple of incidents up at the front of the field that really kind of shook things up a couple of times. Ultimately, Jake Cummings, persevering through that, picks up the victory, locks himself into the round of 8 for Converse. Win number 2 on the season for him in the 95 team. But that does leave a lot of drivers behind the 8-ball tonight going into Darlington, going into a must-win situation. I mean, a lot of people expecting Muhammad Alif to run away with it last week, but due to his prior obligations over in Italy, wasn't able to compete. So now he has to come in here and try and win it. But Darlington, one of those tracks where he historically has been pretty good. So we'll have to see if he can pull something out tonight. But that cut line is pretty narrow. Let's take a look at the points, actually, as they run. And Brad, we look at these points, and the cut line there just below Edward Sanchez. Sanchez currently the last one in. But, I mean, 2 guys with a combined 4 wins directly behind him, and John Hagan and Muhammad Alif. Not going to be an easy feat for guys like Stahey or Sanchez to advance tonight. They're going to really need to put on a great drive.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge bump, as you can see, from Steggy to Kaler. So Kaler pretty much, and those guys above him, really have to have a good, really just not a bad race to get themselves into the round of 8. But yeah, I mean, John Hagen, we've seen him fast all year right now, right below the cut line. And Alif, like you said, last week wasn't here. So currently, not a must win, but definitely he needs a good result.
That he does. No, we get a little deeper into the points. The last 2 drivers in our playoff field, Bryce Kobler, Edwin Onofre, Edwin, who we'll talk to in just a moment. And then obviously the rest of the field who did not make the playoffs, all still looking for that win. A couple folks came close. Ryan Whitlock so close a week ago at Watkins Glen. Could tonight be the night for him, potentially? Guys, a little even deeper into the points. You start getting back beyond 20th. Daniel Nanny, who won here last year for Ball State. Zach DeWale, who won here in Season 6. So a couple of previous winners in the field looking to get back there. But as we get this deep into the points, this deep into the year, it's really all about the glory of trying to pick up that win before the season's over with the points so far gone. With that, an opportunity has now presented itself to talk to one of our playoff drivers who is in a win-and-in scenario tonight. Now joining us up here in the booth, it is the driver of the 199 from the University of Texas. Joining us now, Edwin Onofre. Edwin, do you got a copy?
Hello, how are you doing this evening?
Doing lovely. How about yourself? How are you feeling going into tonight? Obviously, maybe not a fully must-win situation, but I got to imagine you're approaching it as a must-win situation.
That's my only approach tonight, unfortunately, because I missed out last week, and I believe last week was going to be one of my better weeks, too, because I'm more of a road course racer than an oval racer, even though I started iRacing doing ovals. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of practicing around here. I figured out a bit of the strategy. I'm just hoping that we can get myself or the entire field can get a long green flag run, because that is where I excel. I believe I have found a way to manage my tires. I just hope I don't lose a lot of spots in the beginning of the race, because that is going to affect where I'm going to be finishing at. But yeah, I have another situation right now. There's a thunderstorm right now, so I hope the power doesn't go out right now.
That would certainly be the last thing we want here, especially mid-race. That's I'm gonna knock on wood for you over here in Orlando.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to deal with that right now. I'm just hoping that if it's not the field that's gonna knock me out, it's gonna be the thunderstorm that's knocking me out. And if it's the thunderstorm that's knocking me out, well, that's it. It's all said and done. I can't do anything about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to racing around here. I got my Vortex teammates, and I'm my only teammate because of UNT. But it's okay. I'll try to see if I can make my way up to the top, depending where I qualify. And hopefully we can get ourselves a good show for you guys to watch.
And Edwin, I mean, we've raced together, and you seem very fast here at Darlington. And I know you said you have some road racing prowess, but have you and your teammates outside of UNT got any specific strategy or anything going into this? Even some sort of ritual maybe before we get to the race? Some good luck?
Well, the rain dance is not going to happen. We're already sitting in our seats. But yes, we do have specific strategies that we're looking forward to. I'm not going to say what it was, because who knows who's going to be listening right now. But yeah, right now we do have a strat. If any one of us is slower and we have ourselves faster teammates, we'll let them by, because it's pointless to fight each other and cost us 2/10. And momentum is very key in here. If we can't help ourselves, we're not going to be able to help either one of our Vortex teammates into the next round of the playoffs. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing tonight.
Yeah, alrighty. Well, I mean, obviously, it seems like y'all are coming into tonight with a plan and a pretty big situation for you personally, trying to advance to the round of 8 tonight. And to what Brad alluded to a moment ago, obviously, you've been a part of the CIL both as a student and now as an alumni. What part of the league has you continued to come back here, even now running with the 3-digit number group?
Mostly because Texas was on the schedule, so I had to come by. But I do feel like as the more seasons have progressed, I have gotten a little bit better. It's how I was able to get into the playoffs in the first place. And I think if I can get myself more UNT teammates here, whether they're alumni or students, that would be great for us to represent. But yeah, it just has me coming back for more of like all these new strategies, new tracks. Road Atlanta was definitely one of them that I really appreciated, but I was not able to make it a top 5 after that. But still, this is pretty good right now, is what I've been looking forward to. We'll see what we can do for this Darlington run.
Well, we are excited to see what you're going to bring to it, Edwin. Good luck out there tonight. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here?
I'd like to thank my Vortec teammates right now. Hopefully they can get themselves a good race. I'd like to shout out to my family right now, hard workers right now, and my brother is going to he's already currently attending UTD. I'm going to have to do something about that soon. Yeah, but no worries. Shout out to all my partners unofficially, but regardless, shout out to my sim racing partners, Tech Motorsports, for this great gear. Got myself some triples from Micro Center. I don't know what else to say, honestly. Or actually, no, shout out to my Twitch chat right now, who's probably watching right now. And shout out to all the posters I got behind me from the autographed drivers that I went in when I went to COTA in May.
Very cool. Well, Edwin, thank you so much for joining us here in the Ignition Zone pre-race show. Good luck out there tonight, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to talk to you when it's all said and done this evening.
We'll see. Pleasure, and have fun here.
And that was driver of the 199, Edwin Anof, University of Texas. I mean, I think he was pretty candid with his approach tonight, Brad. It's he comes into tonight, I believe it's 23 points behind the cut line. Basically a win, you got to win situation.
Yeah, it's hard to really get 4 other drivers in front of you to, lose out on 23 points. So I think he's going to have to, get at least a podium to even have a shot at moving on to the round of 8. But like a lot of real life and, simulated cutoff races, I think we're in for a lot of wild moments for some of these drivers that are desperately in need of a win or more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have here on the pre-race show, folks. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the start of the Centennial Challenge 201 presented by Weston Video and Media. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be a great race, great show coming up for you in just a moment, and we'll be right back. It has a special place in the hearts and minds of racing fans across the United States. Over the years, it's gathered a couple of names to describe just what makes it so different from any other track in the world. A NASCAR tradition, the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. They all point to one place, one of the most challenging and unique racetracks in the world. Welcome everybody to Darlington Raceway for the Centennial Challenge 201 presented by Weston Video and Media. Along with co-commentator and former CIL driver Brad Daniels and producer Christian Hill tonight, I'm Alex Gagnon welcoming you in to tonight's coverage of, I believe it's the 10th round of the 2024 Garage Shop College Cup Series season and the cutoff race for the round of 12. Brad, 12 driver, or I guess 10, still enter tonight with their fate unknown. 6 of those 10 will advance tonight to join Drew Williams and Jake Cummings in the round of 8. 4 of them, this will be where their championship hunt ends. What is going through the minds of these drivers right now whose fates are still in flux?
I mean, we really have tale of two different teams here. I mean, there's about 4 drivers right now that just need a decent finish to make their way into the round of 8. And then if you're looking towards the cut line, we have about 6 drivers that are all really battling within about 20 or so points to get the final 2 positions. And obviously, a win and you're in, that's the easy way of saying it, but it's not that easy, especially here at Darlington.
Yeah, I mean, this is a track that is so incredibly difficult to win at. It takes a special kind of driver and also takes a special kind of car. I mean, you cannot set up a car that works at both ends of the track here. You either get 1 and 2 right, or you get 3 and 4 right, or you kind of get both, but you don't really nail either. It's just one of those tracks where the two sides are so different, you just never find the balance, and that's why it's such a driver's track. And that's why so many people love it, because it creates some incredible moments like we've seen even here in the CIL. But before we get too far, I want to take a second to thank all of our sponsors who make this series possible, starting with our season-long sponsor in the Garage Shop. The Garage Shop is a race car fabrication company that builds some of the fastest and most unique cars, trucks, and off-road vehicles. Their mission is simple: honor the racers who came before us and put our competitors behind us. You can visit thegarageshop200.com for more information, and a thank you to the Garage Shop for being the season-long title sponsor of the College Cup Series. ECAC Esports, who exists to add value to its member schools by enhancing the competitive experience for hundreds of students seeking to participate in intercollegiate athletics. The Makoni Setup Shop, the homes for setups, paint schemes, coaching, and more. The official setup shop of eNASCAR and the official setup shop here in the CIL. Visit themaconisetupshop.com today to subscribe. Whiplash Simcams, an iRacing and esports media group specializing in racing and team graphics, iRacing camera packs, and other broadcasting resources. And tonight's racing sponsor, Weston Video and Media. Weston Video and Media creates tailor-made video content to promote you and your organization. We help you connect with your audience, build your brand, and tell your story. Tell your story today at westonvideomedia.com. And a big thank you to them for sponsoring tonight's Centennial Challenge 201 from Darlington. Brad, let's talk a little bit about Darlington. We keep alluding to the fact it's a unique track. It's a tough one to drive. What makes it such a challenge?
And you kind of went over it a little bit ago here, Alex, that turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are not the same. As you can see, it looks very similar, but when you get on the track and drive this course, 1 and 2 are slightly smaller than 3 and 4, and it's just, the likeness of being tight coming out of 2 and then also being loose at the same time, and then same with 3, or really 4. So this track has been in the series for now 6 straight years and has been really in real life open for over 75 years almost. So this course has a lot to offer these drivers. And one thing to note too is that the apron is all asphalt, and it really looks like you can use a lot more track than you really have here.
Yeah, this track, such a unique configuration. When they first built it, that apron was supposed to be the track, and the part that's now the track used to be the runoff. in case cars got a little loose. And now cars have maintained such speeds that they start running the apron as the actual track because it's significantly faster. It creates a unique and very challenging driving experience because it was not necessarily designed to be the way it is. But of course, we've been coming here ever since Season 6, and it's been a staple ever since. We've just had some phenomenal races here over the years. But I will cue this up now, so if Producer Christian, if you have that qualifying video, we can pull to it in just a moment here, because this is one of those tracks that you have to see how it's driven to get an idea of just how difficult it is, especially when you're in traffic. So we'll see if we can pull that up here in just a moment.
And the one thing about this track,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, especially with traffic, just this, as the restarts are side by side, and even too wide here is pretty hard to maintain at times through these turns. We will see probably some 3-wide action. Hopefully not in the turns, but if we do, I pray for those drivers. It can happen if you have some very talented drivers. 3-wide can happen here to track in the corners. Coming out of the corners, so be it. But this track is so confined and so tight compared to a lot of other tracks we've been at. I mean, it's gonna be hard to come by a lot of crazy passes.
Yeah, you've got to earn everything that you can out there. There's not going to be a whole lot of stuff just gifted to you, especially here. You got to set these things up corners in advance. But we've got that qualifying video ready for y'all, so let's cut to that now and get an idea of what it takes to drive here at Darlington on board with the man we talked to in the pre-race show, Edwin Onofre from Texas. You see already an interesting design there on 1 and 2. Low entry, high through the middle, cut back down, and then high exit. Really does not feel like a natural line until you're driving it. 3 and 4, a little more rudimentary. You tend to go right on up to the wall. And Brad, with so much of this track being run right up against the outside edge, it's no surprise we see the famed Darlington stripe every once in a while.
Yeah, you really feel like you're hitting the wall every time you come through these corners. You kind of got to trust the car at times to not hit the wall. And you can see coming out of turn 2, you have to take a little bit of a lower line because really you can't just run a consistent line here. You have to dive in and out of the corner to get the most speed. And you can see Edwin here is taking that higher line through 3 and 4, which is going to get you a lot of speed down the front stretch. So this track is just, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't.
It really is one of those cases, and we'll see pretty quickly, I think, who has it and who doesn't. And speaking of which, I actually think it's time for us to take a look at today's starting grid for the Centennial Challenge 201. On the pole today, a driver who really needed a strong run tonight to try and advance to the round of 8. It is Muhammad Alif for Ball State, coming into tonight below the cut line, looks to try and win it from the first starting spot. Daniel Nanny, his teammate and last season's Darlington winner, rolls off to his outside. In row 2, it'll be Jared Kaler in the 58 looking to lock himself in tonight, alongside Jake Cummings, who locked himself in last week courtesy of his win at Watkins Glen. Row 3, it'll be Oklahoma's Mario Miranda and Clemson's Drew Williams. Row 4, we'll see UNC Charlotte's Clint Halterman alongside the 13 of Lucas Moody for Ball State. And behind them, Baruch College's Edward Sanchez, Emory and Henry University's Bryce Kobler rounding out the top 10. A lot of playoff drivers rolling off from the front tonight.
In row 6, we rode along with him at Edwin Onofre from University of North Texas, and to his outside, Andrew Stagey from Ball State. In 13th, Ball State University's Kelton Quick is on the inside of Logan Smith from Auburn University. And in 15th, we have Jason Wallet from Drexel University, and to his outside, Landon Velicky from Auburn University. And in 17th, we have Nick Stockner from Clemson University. 2 is outside, Brandon Schollenberger from Wingate. And rounding out your top 20, Ryan Whitlock, who we saw have an impressive race last week from the University of Alabama, Huntsville. And 2 is outside, Garrett Vighton from ASU.
Back in 21st tonight, it'll be Ball State's Ben Neller, alongside Jordan Byers from Penn State Barrett. Qualifying in the 23rd position this evening, it'll be Clemson's Andrew Burrell, and Esteban Munoz for FIU rolls off alongside. Wesley Shaw for Texas A&M, Texarkana rolls off 25th. Ethan Decatur for Valparaiso rolls off 26th. Row 14, you'll see Roger Primo from Paul Smith's College and Logan Harpine from ETSU. And row 15, it'll be Aiken Lamar from Howard Community College and Carter Capini from Paul Smith's College.
And rounding out your field here, Zach Tallman from the Pennsylvania College of Technology, and 2 is outside, Nathaniel Crone from the University of Toledo. And in 33rd position, we have Devin Defoe from the University of Arizona.
So 33 cars ready to do battle here. And Brad, gotta say, each of the playoff drivers who are here tonight qualified inside the top 12. Pretty impressive stuff, if you say the least. That is an incredible feat. I believe the only non-playoff driver who qualified that high up actually was the 30 of Daniel Nanny, who rose off to the outside of Alif. So this is going to be a wild one. A lot of playoff points on the line, trying to advance to the round of 8 tonight. And they're all going to have the top real estate to try and do it. Looking at tonight's race analysis, 150 laps, 204 miles. The stage at lap 70 will be the one and only scheduled caution this evening. Road speed of 45 miles an hour. Notoriously one of the most difficult pit roads to enter under green flag conditions in all of stock car racing. The average fuel window about 55 to 65 laps, depending on what kind of dirty air you might run into and how well you're trying to save it, because this is a track where you can do some shifting. And about 5 tire sets over the wall available this evening, and something tells me if the cautions fall right, the drivers never.
Yeah, and this track is going to be a little cooler than usual. We've seen a lot of Darlington night races, so it's a very historic track, and also one that these drivers are probably a little more excited than some others to race at tonight.
The field stacked up here going into turn 3 and 4. Got to imagine the nerves in this lead group. Not only do you need all the points you can get, but they're all right in this pack. So right now, you are really feeling the pressure to try and get up to the front in a hurry. Pace car peels off down pit road. Coming off of turn 4, it will be R. Muhammad Ali from Daniel Nanny. Gonna lead him to the green flag, and we are racing Centennial Challenge 201. And after the opening lap, Daniel Nanny has inherited the lead here over his teammate, R. Muhammad Ali. Cummings and Kaler settle out to 3rd and 4th, and we jump on board with this battle here for 5th. Mario Miranda, Drew Williams in the pack. More cars hammering the wall off of turn 2. That was Jordan Byers, who got a piece of Ethan Decatur off the corner. And we stay green, but boy, did the Valpo machine take a shot to the inside wall.
And you'll probably see a lot of cars get loose coming out of 2 and 4 tonight. And I've definitely done it multiple times myself and getting wrecked out of those corners. You see Bryce Kobler and Edward Sanchez battling for 9th position coming out of turn 2 here. And Sanchez is able to keep that position, and we got a Congo line, and it looks like Edwin Onofre wants to take to the inside of Andrew Stagey.
The 199 from North Texas looking to the inside of the Ball State machine. Stagey, though, going to close off the gap going down the front straightaway. He'll hold on to 11th for now. And back in the turns one we go. You can see just how difficult it is to run side by side in 1 and 2 with the way it's configured. So you see a lot of cars single file out. And when you run double wide, you have what just happened deeper in the field there, the Ben Neller. He got a piece of the wall there in 2. Running the outside, so difficult. Coming off of turn 2 because that wall snaps on you at more than a 90-degree angle. It is just a really challenging corner to try and navigate when you have to do it solo, let alone with a car breathing down the back of your neck.
And as these tires wear, we're just going to see a lot more Darlington stripes happen. I mean, it's just going to be imminent.
Jumping on board here, the battle for second are Muhammad Alif, Jake Cummings. Cummings, the winner last week at Watkins Glen. It was his second so far this season. And one of the only 2 drivers whose fate is determined to make the round of 8 tonight, along with Drew Williams. So this is a bit of a stress-free Darlington drive for the 95. The man in front of him, though, in Muhammad Alif, this is, I hesitate to say, a must-win situation. He can point his way in. But if all the playoff drivers are going to run the way they are right now, hanging inside the top 10, it might become a must-win situation for the 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to say that Edwin Onofre is the last of the playoff drivers sitting in 12th when there's 11 playoff drivers in tonight's field. So, really, I mean, you can't get away from each other. It seems like Jake Cummings right now is eyeing up Muhammad Alif, trying to take that second position away from him. But like we said earlier, you have to time up the passes. You see Jake is getting right up to the bumper of that beautiful 12 machine from Ball State.
Yeah, a new look tonight for Muhammad Alif, going with the teal. Not a color we see too often on any car, let alone on any of the Ball State Cardinals machines, but looks pretty sharp, looks pretty reflective as well. You're seeing all the ripples of the lights here from Darlington off of that. But it doesn't seem to be bothering the 95 too much, who continues to stay right in his tire tracks, although Mario Miranda right there as well. He is breathing down the back of the 95, trying to sneak his way on by. Miranda, a 2-time winner this season as well, looking to try and advance to the round of 8. Almost got a piece of the wall there was the 12. May have opened the door just a little bit for the 95, and that was almost really close. Going into turn 3, there was maybe an inch cards gap. Holy.
I think he saw Cummings had to really jump out of that battle, getting even further away from Alif, because, I mean, he wasn't expecting it. I thought he kind of had his nose in there, but Alif sent it in there and got in front of him. So Alif is able to hold on to second right now, and they're slowly catching Nanny here, the one non-playoff driver out of this group in the top 12.
Yeah, and he is our leader here. He's leading the 11 playoff drivers. Nanny won last season here at Darlington, and a pretty dominant performance, if my memory doesn't fail me. That being said, Muhammad Alif has come dangerously close here a couple of times. I think back to season 7, where he had that great battle with Connor Levy in the closing laps, and just ultimately lost out by a nose. Could tonight go different for the 12? He's got some company, though, with Cummings and Miranda. A great little group of 4 cars starting to pull away here. Kaler and Williams kind of in an island there, 5th and 6th. And then the rest of the playoff cars kind of shuffle on back through just outside the top 10. Last car in that little pack appears to be the 2 of Kelton Quick. So 2 Ball State Cardinals bookending all 11 playoff drivers here on lap 12.
It's a great way of putting it, Alex. I mean, Kelton Quick is also one of these fast guys up here. I mean, obviously, he is trying to battle his way for a win right now and get as many points as he can sitting outside of the playoffs, but he has to make his way through every single playoff driver, which is no easy feat, no matter what track it is.
Yeah, that sounds like a real gauntlet challenge, you know, like it sounds like one of the old NASCAR Thunder challenges, like go ahead and pass every playoff driver. So Kelton Quick there in the number 2 machine on the tail end of this little group. But you can see how quickly the field spread out here at Darlington. It's one of those tracks, to your point you made earlier, Brad. Either you kind of come off the truck and you either have it or you don't. And right now we are seeing each of these playoff drivers. I think they might have it. They have been dialed in from the drop of the green flag here, and it has been a quiet evening for them relative to any of the non-playoff drivers. Someone to keep an eye on, folks, is that 5 of Bryce Kobler from Emery and Henry. He's already worked his way up into P7. He's gotten around Stagey, Sanchez, Halterman, and Moody. And now the 5 looks to try and track down the regular season champion, Drew Williams. Kobler, also a driver down below the cut line coming into tonight, but is doing a really good job here in the opening 15 to try and work his way toward the lead.
And we're going to see probably, I mean, right now Kobler's looking to the inside of Drew, trying to take that 6th position away, but can't make the move coming out of 4. And it's just so hard to get a pass going here. As you see, he just sends it in there on the back bumper of Drew riding along here. Drew catches the wall a little bit, but he's actually going to keep on going without any slowdown.
It looks like the 5 has got some really good pace, especially through 3 and 4. That's where he caught Williams last time. Gonna look to the inside again. Can he stay on the throttle? Almost. Had a nose to the inside there of Williams. And this is the tough part here about Darlington, because, you know, you get that run off of 4, but you have to ask yourself, where can you take it? Because it's so tough to be side by side in 1 and 2. And as I say it, Kobler to the inside. He's going to take that spot away. Lucas Moody going to get right to the back bumper as well. But Bryce Kobler moves up the P6 ahead of Drew Williams. Williams, the only other driver besides Jake Cummings, already locked into the round of 8. But for Bryce Kobler, it's been a great start for the 5.
And you got to think, I mean, if we have this long green flag run, Darlington is one of those tracks that tires just degrade like no other, and it just feels like eventually you're just driving a car on ice. And really, you just got to be so consistent, and some of these drivers might be holding on, trying to, you know, keep those tires up, get as much grip as they can for the long run, because honestly, I don't think there's another track that's as hard to drive on worn tires as it is here at Darlington.
Yeah, this place is already a lot to handle under the best conditions, let alone when conditions start becoming suboptimal. So you'll see the playoff drivers, just the line of them, continue to pull away from the field here. Kelton Quick, the only one behind him, able to keep pace, and then Daniel Nanny continues to lead up front. But how about we jump back into the that second pack there for just a second, see what's happening in from 14th on back. It looks like we're getting a nice little bit of battle in here. Oh, and as I say it, Ben Neller hard into the inside wall. The 79 around on the front straightaway. Ben Neller trying to get that thing going. He's so far down below the racing line that he just has to get it back to toward the pit road. No caution flag flies, and Brad, it's because of the point you made earlier. Because iRacing has registered so much of this track as apron, it is deemed off of the racing line, and therefore iRacing won't throw a yellow.
And you saw he tried to get out. He tried to keep that car rolling at least to get back to pit road, but it looked like that Neller really just clobbered that inside wall, as you can see there, and spun it around. We'll see coming out of turn 4 here behind Landon Velicki from Auburn, just gets it loose. And I mean, we've said this time and time again, once these cars get loose and you overcorrect it, sometimes it's already over by then, as he just clobbers that inside wall.
And then when it spun, you could see he gets back on the throttle, trying to get this thing moving again. You can see the rear wheels here. Well, you could on the right side, or on the right side of the car. Left side, I guess, is a little destroyed, but it's going to be a tough day for Ben Neller. Looks like his day, maybe not over fully, but has any chance of winning there, maybe even the top 10, maybe out the window here. As Mario Miranda, Muhammad Ali, the battle's on for second. Jake Cummings has dropped back to Bryce Kobler, who's up to 5th, by the way. And now as these two are battling, that's Ball State's Muhammad Ali, Oklahoma's Mario Miranda. That is the battle for second. Miranda doing a really good job waiting for his moment here. There is a Leaf on the left side of your screen, Miranda on the right side. Both of them incredibly dialed in right.
And I think every week we see them both absolute. I mean, a Leaf always locked in, as we said last week. He was in Italy racing, and he just, is always fast, always, determined, consistent, and that's what you need to be at this track, consistently fast. And as you can tell, some cars, you just get too loose and you have one lapse of judgment and you're into the inside wall.
It is incredible. I'm not entirely sure I've seen a Leaf blink yet the entire time. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm about to say, holy, he was dialed in. Yeah, he gets all the blinks in at once so he can stay locked in for the next 2 laps. But it's a great battle here, and you can see just how active Miranda is on the wheel, trying to keep as much speed in that car without it sliding out from under him. And, a little bit of seesawing, really good to maintain speed here at Darlington, but he is really working that wheel right.
That's what you have to do to keep the car straight, unfortunately. It's a driver's track. We said that already, and I mean, this track is definitely a workout for the arms for everyone.
Yeah, so good battle here for second. Bryce Kobler around Jake Cummings for fourth. He's certainly trailing the leader by about 2 seconds, but that gap is coming down a little bit. That 5 has been a man on a mission here in the early going. There's the 5 from Emery and Henry. A little bit of contact on the right front fender. Not sure if that's from a wall or another car or what, but damage doesn't seem to be holding up the 5 too much because he has just been flying so far, and you can see on your screen there. Daniel Nanny very quickly about to be approaching lap traffic here.
He
actually gets into the wall a little bit.
Nanny. Yeah. Luckily, he has a little buffer back to a Leaf, about 7/10 now. But yeah, there's 3 cars in front of him, and he's going to have to try and figure out how to pass them without, causing too much a commotion, because this isn't for position, and certainly you don't want a lap car to ruin your race, especially, with 120 laps to go.
Yeah, so approaching here, I do believe that is, I want to say that's Zach Tallman in the 71 who will go on by. Tallman lets him go on by. Not a bad move from the 71, knowing that, the last place you want to get stuck side by side with the leader as a lap car is in the middle of a corner, especially when it's a place that is difficult to pass. So, you can defend your position if you so choose, but the 71 making sure that both he and the rest of the playoff field get out of it without incident. And getting down and away as Jake Cummings comes up right behind the 71, and everyone's scrambling to avoid him now. So Kaler and Williams are going to get right up to each other here in this battle for 6th. Kobler and Cummings going to try and clear Ethan Decatur, and then this is where Darlington starts getting interesting, when the leaders start trying to clear lap traffic, because you can catch them on the straightaways and have it be an incredibly easy pass, or you can catch them like here in 1 and 2 and have it be an absolute nightmare.
And I mean, at least right now, Ethan Decatur, you saw he was on the inside as Lucas Moody's using this opportunity to try to get around Drew Williams for 7th.
Moody pounces on the opportunity to get to the inside door of Williams. They were side by side for a moment, settling back out now. Drew Williams on the left side of your screen, Lucas Moody on the right. One driver locked into the round of 8, the other fighting to advance to the next round.
As you can see, I mean, this lap traffic has opened the door for some side-by-side action. As you see, right behind, we have Edward Sanchez, Clint Halterman. 2 drivers currently sitting pretty well in the standings to get to the round of 8, but still battling for that 9th position. You see Edward Sanchez, well, he's currently on the cut line, actually, apologies, and now he passes Clint for a crucial point.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking all night about points, Brad, but especially thinking about the points that will come with the stage. With all the playoff drivers doing so well, each of these positions are so critical because not only if you make a pass, not only do you get that point, but whoever you just passed will lose that point against you. And with so many playoff drivers going to be getting stage points here, if this continues, it's going to be critical. And for guys like Andrew Stakey and Edwin Onofre, they're having a pretty solid run right now in 11th and 12th, but that simply is just not going to be enough, both stage point wise and maybe as this race continues. With the way the drivers in front of them are running, as you see now, Sanchez and Moody door to door. That is the battle for 8th. Sanchez is going to take it. Looks like that Baruch College machine, a little bit of long run pace here. He's picked up 2 positions in the past couple laps.
Now he's got to try and close this gap up to Drew Williams. And I mean, if he's able to pass these two, he should be able to fast enough try and catch these two in front of him. I mean, Jared and Drew have not gotten away from each other this entire race, no matter what cars really got around them.
Keeping an eye up on the front of the field as well. Looks like Bryce Kobler has caught Mario Miranda for 3rd. So the 5's march to the front of the field has continued here. The new driver in his sights is the machine in the 89. So Oklahoma versus Emory and Henry here. Battle for 3rd. The other thing I've been keeping an eye on is while both Alif and Miranda have been losing a little bit of time to Daniel Nanny, Bryce Kobler has gained just a hair on him while he's been tracking down Miranda. So something to keep an eye on here, especially if there is an opportunity for the 5 to catch the 30. It looks like he has the pace to maybe keep pace with Nanny. But right now, the 30 and the league of his own is see the gap back to Alif. Daniel Nanny checking out down the back straightaway.
We're looking further back here to the battle for 16th. We got a battle between Jason Wallet, Kelton Quick. You know, it looks like also this is really a battle for 14th to 18th. Logan Smith from Auburn University back to Landon Velicky and I believe Carter Copini. So got some fast guys back here currently trying to maneuver around each other, figure out which, when to pass, when not to pass. And really this second group has been very consistent with each other. It's just right now you can see that Kelton Quick is getting under attack from Landon Velicky. As you see Velicky.
Wow. What a save. That could have been disastrous.
It looks like he's a little dance move with it. He's just had to save that thing coming out of turn 4.
Oh my goodness. That thing, I don't know if I've ever seen a car hit a stutter step, when you take if you're taking a 3-ball in basketball and a little stutter step to try and get some separation. That's literally what the car did. Although usually when you do that 170 miles an hour, you end up fence. What a save from Landon Velicky. Oh, look how busy that wheel was. Let's take another look at this, folks. Coming off of turn 4, this wheel is going to be everywhere but forward, and somehow he makes it work.
Whew.
He must have rocked that thing 3-4 times before it finally started to settle back down.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the POV there from his setup, because his arms must have been flailing trying to save that car, because it went left, right, faster than a drill sergeant would say it.
He was one step away from hitting the old Contra code in the old Super Mario Brothers game with all the lefts, rights, up and back. But anyway, enough really bad analogies from. Let's get back to the playoff action here. Andrew Steggy, Edwin Onofre duking it out for 11th. Tack on Brandon Schulenberger in this battle as well. 3-car battle just outside the top 10. And, this is really the first time we've seen any of the playoff drivers starting to fall back through the field a hair. Steggy and Onofre running inside the top 15, but clearly not with the same pace that some of the remaining playoff drivers have.
And you can see it. I mean, the car is just unhappy when Onofre's on that inside line coming out of turn 4 especially. So, I mean, Brandon Schulenberger currently, it looks like he saved up some tire and is currently trying to take down Andrew Stagey as we ride on board with Stagey.
The Ball State driver trying to advance to the round of 8 came into today positive on the cut line by about 9 points, but currently missing out on stage points when the rest of the field will get it. Could shrink that gap pretty quickly as he gets into the wall a little bit. Going to open the door for Schulenberger and the no-fray on the inside. Bit of bad luck there. Little on-screen curse maybe from the broadcast. We jumped on board with the 88, and now he finds himself running 13th.
And back up front here, you can see Drew Williams, Jared Kaler, and now Edward Sanchez joins the picture for the battle for 6th place. And a little bit in front of him, Jake Cummings as well. So really, these 4 cars are battling for a top 5.
They've also got, I believe that's Ryan Whitlock just in front of him, although he is currently running 2 laps down in the 26th position. So this is the battle for 6th. Kaler back to Sanchez. Sorry, it's the battle for 5th. This is Jake Cummings back towards Sanchez. But the actions here with the 58, 123, and the 26. I think Williams just hammered the wall there off of 2. That's a little bit of a Darlington stripe there down the Boeing backstretch. And now Sanchez trying to pounce on it. They are door-to-door through the corner.
Luckily, they keep it off each other. As you see, Sanchez is still to the inside of Williams. He's going to get that preferred line entering the corner. Going to slide up to Williams, and a little bit of contact. Sanchez is able to save it.
Yeah, what a save from Edward Sanchez. It looked like, I think, the 123 just barely clipped the outside wall. And when the car came back down the track and kind of recoiling from that, he went right toward the 26 because they were running so closely together through 1 and 2, and it just shuffled the 26 out of place a little bit. But a great save from Sanchez to keep himself in the running here because, you know, if that had gone any more sideways, that could have been the end of not only his day today, but potentially his championship hopes, as he is really loose out of 2.
He is pushing that thing, trying to get back up to these next 3 cars in front of him. You see Kaler's all over the back bumper of Cummings now.
Yeah, he has basically glued himself to the back bumper of the 95. The 123 can probably say the same here. For Cummings and for Williams, this race, not to say it doesn't matter, because they need it for momentum's sake and to kind of get a gauge on where everyone's running at the moment, but they're already locked into the round of 8, so it's not as stressful a situation. But for Jared Kaler, that position in front of him could be that point he needs to advance to the round of 8. So I have a feeling he'll be a little more determined to take that spot from the 95 than the 95 might be to try and hold on to it.
As you can see, the live
live points as they run.
A lot of movement. Really only the top 2. Obviously, the 2 locked in haven't moved. Everyone else has at least moved up 1 or 2 positions or downwards. As you can see, currently Edward Sanchez is trying yet again on the inside of Drew Williams. You got a little pack here of 4 cars that are tightly put together.
They're going to go door-to-door again in 1 and 2. Oh, no, Sanchez backed out of it a little bit that time. He's getting great runs off of 2 to the 123, and they get real door-to-door through 3 and 4, and just the 26 has not been able to complete the pass just yet. It's not for a lack of effort, though. He has been getting there each and every lap. They're getting right to the back bumper of Kaler as well. More door banging between the 2. Active wheel, Williams and Sanchez. Drew Williams on your left for Clemson. Baruch College's Edward Sanchez on the right-hand side of your...
And you can just see the wheel
they're having.
Yeah. And honestly, I think right now, Edward Sanchez might have the fastest pace out of these 4 cars because he seems to just catch up and is now side-by-side, door-to-door with Drew yet again. But, Luke's coming out of the corner, able to save it yet again. You can see he's still, his facial expression did not change.
That's how you can tell Sanchez is dialed in at the moment. I would have had a far greater reaction to almost ending up in the inside wall than he did there. He has been determined right now to try and get by the 123. Has just not been able to find his way by. But I got to imagine this has got to be incredibly frustrating for the 26. You know, tight points battle. He was the cut line coming into tonight's race. You know, with that position in front of you, that means a lot more to you than it does for Drew Williams. You got to imagine he's like, come on, man, just give me a break. Let me try and find a way on by. But, you know, Drew Williams, a racer to the core, trying to hold on to that spot. And all this battling is really, you think it would have slowed them up. Or it's got a piece of them. Oh, Williams into the wall. I think that started from the two cars in front of him, Cummings and Kaler, getting a little slow into the corner because they were side by side, which bottled up the rest of the group. Now Sanchez apparently got by both of them. Well, we're going to have to try and jump that again. Edward Sanchez has cleared Kaler and Jake Cummings.
A lot of it.
We're going to have to take another look at that one. What a duel they were having. Now Sanchez in the wall.
Man, his car is all over the place tonight. It's loose, sometimes in the wall, passing people, and it's just all over the place. And you can see there's some cars on fresh tires too that are in this situation. But as you can see, back about 2 laps ago, before all the calamity, Drew Williams gets a little loose coming out of 2. And yeah, Sanchez drives it in there, and I mean, Drew had to check up a little bit for the 2 cars in front, but puts him in the wall. Jordan Byers also has to take some evasive maneuvers.
Looks like the 95 got loose. The 58 tried throwing a big block, and it did not work. Sanchez drove this thing all the way down through the apron, chopped the nose off the 58, but kept that momentum going all the way to the outside wall, got both of them on the pass. That is a daring move from a driver who needs every point he can get his hands on tonight, and moves like that might just get it for him. And if he mistimed that, I mean, he would have ended up in the fence for sure.
I mean, yeah, if Kaler was not even like a foot or 2 ahead of where he was, he would have definitely been caught up in some action. You see both of them back there, Kaler and Drew, hit the wall. It looks like Jake Cummings quickly fell off a rock here. It looks like he is now in the 9th position as Lucas Moody takes his position, and Kaler gets a little loose coming out of 4. And now is under attack from Clint Halterman.
And Brad, we were talking at the start of this race, the pit window, from what we've heard, about 55 to 65 laps. I got to imagine the leader's going to be coming down pit road any given moment now. And with the need for fresh tires very apparent out there, I can't imagine they're going to stay out any bit longer than they have to try and put themselves in the best position here. And the green flag pit cycle at Darlington has the potential to really shake up the field, as it looks like we might have almost a challenge for the lead here as well. Muhammad is closed in on Daniel Manny. Gonna go 3 wide around Aiken Lamar, door to door, maybe for the lead, but looks like Alif backed out of that. Can't say I blamed him. He was going to have to take the apron in the 3 and 4, and unlike the move we just saw there with Edward Sanchez, that is a very, high risk, low reward kind of move. It worked for the 26, the 12 deciding that he has some time to try and wait it out, as they're going to try and clear the 2 in the 099.
And this also brings Mario Miranda into the picture. Miranda's going to send it onto the inside of Aiken Lamar and use that momentum and get real close up to the leaf here. So really the podium 3 right now, all back within 0.3 of a second.
They had fanned out a little bit, but lap traffic has proven to be quite the challenge here to navigate for the Ball State drivers. Has bunched them back together, has gotten Miranda onto the scene as well. And this long green flag run is starting to show its effects through the field, Brad. Only about 17 drivers remain on the lead lap.
Now, Leaf's going to take that inside line in Danny to his outside.
Oh. So the 30 just able to pull ahead there. Down the front straightaway, retakes the lead. The stage scheduled about 7 laps from now. Lap 70 is for when the stage is supposed to come out. Daniel Nanny leads over R. Muhammad Ali here. Centennial Classic 201, presented by Weston Video and Media. Miranda, Kobler, Sanchez, your top 5. There has been a ton of action throughout the field so far. It's genuinely been a great race to this point. And I'm almost upset to see that the pit cycle has to happen here because we're getting great racing on really burnt out tires right now. It is really a slugfest for position out there, but at some point here, they're going to need fuel. Otherwise, no one's going to be able to make it to the stage, I don't believe.
I mean, you can
this
see
Jordan. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, you can see Jordan Byers now. You can see on new tires how effective those tires are. I mean, Byers is probably, half second faster than these top 3, but obviously 65 laps worth of racing is going to do that to your car compared to fresh tires.
Yeah, and where you see that change really is in the corners. You see Byers just hugging the apron, just going to go right on by the 12. And I'd imagine he'll be doing the same here to the 30 in just a moment. But now it looks like Alif actually going to hang with him here on the outside just a little bit. But Byers going to try and unlap himself. Currently scored as the first car 2 laps down is the 8. So this will be getting 1 of his 2 laps back if he is able to clear the 30 here in just a moment. With all the lap traffic from that block out of the way, it does leave Daniel Nanny back in a relatively clean air here with Alif and Miranda hot on his heels. But a little deeper in the field, Jared Kaler has caught Bryce Kobler, and you can add the 26 of Edward Sanchez to that mix as well. The 5 machine who surged up through the field in the early going maybe has used up a little bit more of his stuff than the rest of the group here. Because now Kaler right on his back bumper, and the 5 has lost the top 3.
Ooh, Kelton quick nails the outside wall there. But going back to this battle, yeah, I mean, right now Kobler's going to try and hang on for 2 more laps. As you see, Kaler's trying to get a nose to the outside, but it's not going to be able to do it. Going to try and use that momentum down the front stretch, but it's stalled out a little bit.
Kobler, Kaler, Sanchez, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. All drivers looking to advance to the round of 8. 2 of these 3 coming in with really needing every point they could get. Here comes Kaler to the inside.
Oh, caution.
Caution's out. Nick Stockner into the wall on the front stretch. So is Logan Smith. I'm also hearing that the 55 may have been a part of it. But I think a lot of it stemmed something with the 34, and that will be your stage. So stage winner, Daniel Nanny. They'll finish with the rest of the group being Alif, Miranda, Kobler, Kaler, Sanchez, Moody, Halterman, Schulenberger, and Cummings. That caution just completely bailed out the 5 from losing a couple more spots. And the field will be able to make it down pit road here for fresh tires in the first time in a long while. Here's the incident off of 4.
Stockner and Logan Smith here coming out of 4. I mean, side by side currently. It looks like Logan might have fresher tires, so that might be helping, but going into turn 1 here, you can see Garrett Vighton coming into the picture as well.
I'm pretty sure it was coming off of turn 4. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
There it is. Had it wrong. It was the back straightaway, but looks like contact all at the same time between Smith, Stockner, and Vighton. Ends up looping the 124 and the 34. Clemson and Auburn into the wall. Arizona State able to slide on by. But I believe that is why 5 also got a piece of it, because he was right there on the scene when all that transpired. One more look at it. You can see the closing speed difference between the 2, and yeah, just nowhere to go. They all kind of converge at the same point. And that will bring out the first caution of the day right when the stage was about to happen anyway.
And it looks like Daniel Nanny might have had a bad a bad pit stop. He's fallen back to fourth position. Muhammad Alif inherits the lead, followed by Mario Miranda, Jared Kaler. So a little mix up in the top four. Edward Sanchez still in fifth. And now Brandon Schoenberger pulls himself up to sixth, currently up 12 positions from qualifying 18th.
He's having a great day there for Wingate. One of those drivers who just always seems to have really good pace, just has not been able to put it in victory lane just yet. And looks today like another day for the 7 to have a really competitive run up there in that lead group. Deemed racing incident and net code on that one, so no penalty issued from anybody. And this field will get ready to stack back up again pretty soon here. And Brad, while we have a second, I guess, this marks the 101st CAIL Cup Series points-paying race, the first of a new century of races ahead. Races down, 101 and counting. It's an opportunity for drivers to start the next group off on the right foot, but that is why we are calling tonight's race the Centennial Challenge 201. And I got to imagine, for a name as seemingly silly as that one may be, it is certainly living up to the billing.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely getting off on the right foot for the next 100 races, and a lot of great racecraft happening in this race. You could see a lot of different dives, a lot of great passes, a lot of people setting up some passes and maneuvering around lap traffic, which is all part of the sport. So, I mean, we have really seen a lot tonight, and, excited for the second half of this race.
As am I. It looks like Muhammad Alif and Mario Miranda going to be leading them to the green flag here in just a moment, with Daniel Nanny losing out a little bit on pit strategy. Could be an opportunity for the 12 or the 89 to try and dictate things from the front of the field.
You can see Alif
Green.
leads them down to the green flag, and away we go after the stage.
So the 12 of Muhammad Alif for Ball State going to lead him through turns 1 and 2. Oklahoma's Mario Miranda, and then Ball State's Daniel Nanny, the top 3. The rest of the field roaring down the field behind him. You got Kaler and Sanchez hot on their heels as well. And then things still side by side to the back half of the top 10.
Jason Wallet jumped his way up into the top 10 through that pit cycle. Happy to see him back in the top 10 right now, battling as we jump up to the second position. As you can see, all single file line down through the backstretch. Daniel Nanny is hard on the heels of Mario Miranda, now to the outside of the 89. But Miranda's going to pull through and get through turns 3 and 4 ahead of Nanny. Back to the back bumper of Muhammad Alif.
Jump on board here. Mario Miranda, 2-time winner this season, trying to hold off the previous winner at Darlington, Daniel Nanny. Nanny led every lap of that opening stage, all 69 or 70 of them. And now has to try and work his way back through a couple cars of traffic to try and get back to the lead. He was so dominant in that early stage in clean air. Will the car handle the same, having to combat a little bit of dirty air? Right now, it looks like the clean air, though, doing the 12 some good. And Muhammad Alif, courtesy of his run of second place and that opening stage, picking up the 9 stage points that comes with it. Trying to close that gap back to Edward Sanchez. And he's starting to get a little bit closer here. That gap was 14. The gap has come down to 10 points. And as they run right now, Muhammad Alif would be the last one in over Andrew Stagey. Bryce Kobler who had a real trouble on the pit stop, I believe. He's all the way down to 17th. So he has to work his way through the field big time to give himself any chance. He was right in the mix at the end of that stage, though.
And I mean, luckily for him, there's no stage 2. It's all the way to the finish, so he has 71 laps to get back up to where he was. But I mean, there's a lot of fast cars up here that we haven't seen, such as Garrett Vighton, Jason Wallet, like we said before, and now Landon Veliki's outside of the top 12.
Yeah, that pit stop definitely shook things up just a little bit. It was also a huge break for some of those cars who were about to go a lap down, who are going to be able to stay on. That first stage, though, with how green it went, almost half the field ended up at least one lap down from that one. Andrew Burrell, the first car not on the lead lap, and he's only 18th. He's having a pretty decent run. But with how long that first green flag run was, Daniel Nanny was just eating up the field. So only 17 cars currently run on the lead lap here. As we make our way on to lap 80 of 150. Next time by, it'll be 70 laps to go in the Centennial Challenge 201, presented by Weston Video and Media. Our Muhammad Alif leads Mario Miranda and Daniel Nanny, and we're watching this battle here between a couple of playoff drivers. Lucas Moody from Ball State, Clint Halterman's UNC Charlotte. That is a good battle going on for P7 right now.
And now Jake Cummings wants to join in on the fun. So you see Lucas is able to pull away from Clint. Jake is now to the back bumper of Clint. And as I say that, he drives away. I feel like every time I say there's a battle, they just pull away from each other.
Well, there is probably more accordion effect here at Darlington than maybe any other oval of its size, just through the nature of how tough it is to remain side by side for prolonged periods of time. We'll watch here Jake Cummings in the 95, trying to get that run down the front straightaway to get the Halterman. The 95 with a good exit through 4. Looks like he's going to lose a bit of time, though, to the 077 through 1 and 2. Halterman had a really nice set of corners, which gets him right up to the back bumper of Lucas Moody. No one in this top 10 really able to find any separation yet, which does add to the pressure a little bit, because if you make one small mistake, you could lose 2, 3, 4 positions in one set of corners with how closely everyone's running together right now.
And I mean, you'd think seeing all these cars in a single file line, this track is like draft dependent or something, but no, it's, everyone's just running the same line, trying to set up their next pass, but also at the same time, you have to be confident and try to make those passes, because you've seen a lot of these times, a lot of cars throwing themselves into the wall because they, are on the outside and it's just getting loose. But luckily with these fresh tires, a lot of these drivers can wheel and deal as they please.
Yeah, and you see everyone now kind of running the line that they're choosing, which is right up against that wall. That's where you'll find the most speed, is Lucas Moody, a little tap of the wall off of turn 2. Meanwhile, Jason Wallet looking to try and break his way into the top 10 for the first time tonight. The Drexel machine on the back bumper of the Sun Devils. Garrett Vighton trying to hold on to 10th place right now. It's been a great drive so far for the 55. He's up from 20th to 10th, looking to try and become the second ever Arizona State driver to win a CIL race at Darlington. Former teammate Connor Levy got it done in Season 7. Garrett Vighton looking to get it done here tonight.
As you can see, Jake Cummings is trying to yet again pass Clint Halterman, going through 3 and 4. You can see from the spoiler cam here, they're door to door. I mean, none of them really have momentum on each other going down the front stretch.
To the inside still is Cummings, trying to find his way around the 077. Ooh. Almost a bit of contact. 077, Halterman had to really get out of the throttle. And now everyone diving to the inside. They're stacked up in 3 and 4. Cummings goes by. Vighton trying to slide on by as well. Halterman trying to hold on to the outside lane. Wallet going to slide in behind Halterman. And that brings a no fray right into the mix, along with Veliky and Stege. And that's what we were just talking about. One slight error costs Halterman 2 spots and almost more. But look how stacked up this group is from 8th on back. It also looks like Mario Miranda going to maybe take a shot at the lead here against Muhammad Alif. He's closed in to just about a bumper away. You can see the gap there. He has refused to let Muhammad Alif get out of his... Alif there in the teal number 12, and Oklahoma's Mario Miranda hot on his heels, trying to take that lead away while holding off Daniel Nanny. It has been an eventful one. Everywhere we look, there's a great battle happening on track.
And you can see diving into turn one. I mean, they're mirroring each other's lines. ZC into the wall a little bit for Miranda. Isn't going to slow him down any bit, though, coming out of turn two. Has a little bit of a run on Muhammad Alif, but yet again, it stalls going into turn three, up to his back bumper. And I mean, that car in front of him is very reflective. And I honestly, if I was stuck behind Muhammad Alif right now, I would probably get a little bit of a headache from seeing my reflection.
If nothing else, I would try making faces at it, see if I could see my own reflection. That's also probably why I was never running in the top three when it came to these races. So you've got Alif, Miranda, Nanny, your top three right now. Jared Kaler, Edward Sanchez, your top five. First, or second non-playoff driver after Daniel Nanny is Brandon Schulenberger in sixth. Lucas Moody, Jake Cummings, Garrett Fight, and Clint Halterman round out your top 10 as they run right now. About 60 laps to go here. It has just been flying by. And we've still got a great battle on our hands here as we'll jump a little deeper into the field. Jason Wallet poking his nose out, trying to find a way around Clint Halterman to break into the top 10, which is a conversation I think we were just having when he was trying to get around the 55 before everything got all shuffled up in this group. And you can see just how big this battle for eighth is. More or less, a second ago, that's how big the battle was. There was a ton of cars all in the mix there.
And you can see they fanned out a little bit, but they're in a little pack of their own. Jake Cummings is trying to catch catch back up to Lucas Moody, Brandon Schollenberger, and others in front of them. After that, a little bit of calamity with Clint Halterman.
Jumping on board there with the Drexel machine of Jason Wallet. He's got a couple of hungry drivers behind him as well. Edmund Anofer, Andrew Stagey, who are trying to find their way into the mix. Both of them, as they currently run, below that cut line, trying to find their way into the round 8. Jason Wallet doesn't really care about any of the playoff matters. At the moment, he's just trying to play spoiler and have himself the best race he can have tonight. And that starts with trying to get around the 077 here of Clint Halterman. Wallet up 4 spots from where he qualified, but he's been running in this 10th through 12th area basically since the drop of the green flag tonight.
You can see a little further back, Landon Bellicky and Andrew Stagey are getting into it a little bit. That's really the closest battle we have currently at the moment. I mean, all these drivers are a little, they're getting settled into this long green flag run if stage 1 taught us anything. So you can see Ball State here having some dominance here, 4 cars within the top 14. And I mean, that, like we've seen all season, especially towards the back half, the Ball State has come to play.
Yeah, and tonight, no exception. Another great run for that team. They've led basically every lap here tonight between Daniel Nanny and Muhammad Alif. Continues to be up at the front of this field, although he's not been able to drive away quite the way the 30 did earlier in this race. One thing that I've been keeping my eye on here has been the fact that the 5 of Bryce Kobler has not been able to really make any progress outside of 17th. So I took a closer look to see what happened as he was going down the front way, and at some point during this run, I believe, or just before the stage break, I think he got some right front fender damage. He got a pretty gnarly stripe there right on the right front, and it seems to be affecting his lap times pretty significantly. Currently 19 seconds behind the leader, and right now the last car on the lead lap just trying to stay that way as we stay green.
Yeah, he's currently hoping for that yellow to come out at any point. But I mean, right now it seems like everyone's kind of settled in with each other, trying to make this race go green until the end. Knowing that I say that, it'll probably happen within the next 5 laps. But
you can see the little bit of right front damage right there. Not a ton, but it looks like the handling just not quite right on the 5. And you can see he is a bit down on pace compared to the rest of the field. That's the 11 of Carter Capini, who's currently scored 3 laps down, who's just driven up to his back bumper here. And for what started as such a great run for the 5 to potentially try and lock his way into the round of 8, starting to look a little more difficult now. Still on the lead lap and in position to make something happen if he can get down, maybe get that damage repaired. But for right now, just trying to do what he can to keep himself in the hunt here, this rookie driver from Emery and Henry.
oh,
Whoa, Andrew Stagey got shoved out of line there by Landon Bellicky way in the back of the screen the moment we made that cut. Looks like Stagey kept it off the wall, but holy.
that was a good cut.
Well timed there, producer Christian. Well timed. Well, this battle here sees the 26 of Edward Sanchez from Baruch, the 7 of Brandon Schulenberger for Wingate, and why don't you add in to that mix Lucas Moody, not too far behind him either. Brandon Schulenberger continuing that march to the front, trying to break his way into the top 5 after starting 18th today.
I mean, right now, Brandon Schulenberger trying to track down Edward Sanchez, but Sanchez in the wall a little bit, but he's doing exactly what he needs to point his way into the round of 8, staying in the top 5, but Brandon Schulenberger's trying to change that as we ride on board going into turn 1.
On board here with Schulenberger in the 7. Not a bad run off of turn 2. Going to close in toward the back bumper. Does he step out here? No, he does not. Going to settle in behind the Baruch College machine. Trying to find his way into the top 5. Another good run off the corner. Does he think about it here? It's much tougher to pass on the inside in 1 and 2. He's going to really make a shallow entry into that corner, trying to develop the run off of it. And I think he might be able to do just that, but he clipped the wall a little bit there. And that just shows how thin the margins are here at Darlington.
And I mean, one thing you could think about from Brandon's point of view, I mean, right now Edward's definitely not, he's not calm and collected, probably with the 7 car always on his back bumper. So if you really want to intimidate someone, Brandon's doing what you should be doing and just getting right up to that back bumper and not leaving him alone at any point. But Edward is keeping it, off the wall and in front of Brandon, most importantly, as he gets loose. And I said something wrong, at least.
Commentators curse in real time. But I mean, you're absolutely right. When you run behind someone like that lap after lap, you're just trying to goad them into making a mistake, and that's what happened with the 26 there. Got a lot of loose off the corner. Lost handling for just a second. Schulenberger goes on by, and the Sanchez will have to settle back in here the 6th and try and hold on to it. Lucas Moody, but right now the handling, to be fair for the 26, it seems like the handling's been a bit of a problem all night long, but especially right now, as Andrew Stagey slowed down the back straightaway. Look at the damage. This could have major implications on his playoff hopes. Oh, man, that car looks absolutely devastated.
And he's not going to bring it down pit lane, so it's somewhat drivable. It looks like it's a little loose coming out 4 there, but let's see what happened. Oh,
and then heavy contact.
We kind of saw that earlier. I mean, him and Landon Bellicky he was trying to get around Bellicky for a while now. And unfortunately,
we got a battle for the lead as well. Lap traffic has completely bottled up the top 3. Miranda, Alif, Nanny, all balled up together, trying to get around Carter Copini, Bryce Kobler, and the like. Miranda had a run, got blocked by the 11 because the 12 used him as a pick, and now 2 wide, maybe 3 wide for the lead. Gloves are off with 43 to go.
And Bryce Kobler's trying to defend for his life, but he's at least going to be able to get around him. And Nanny's looking to the inside. He gets loose coming out of 2, and Miranda's going to follow suit.
So that is a tough break for the 5. The one saving grace for him, he currently remains the first car 1 lap down and probably will for some time. I think there may have also been trouble deeper in the field for Edward Sanchez, who has now scored 15th and is no longer on the lead lap, as cars are almost wrecking, trying to get around the 5, and now the caution's out.
Oh.
Bryce Kobler did not get cleared by some of the lap traffic, and I think Lucas Moody got a piece of him in the corner. And it looks like the 5 just going to tow it back to pit lane. Boy, there's a lot that we'll have to go and find, because Kobler now scored a lap down. It looks like Edward Sanchez has now scored a lap down. That was something entirely different. But here's what happened with the 13 and the 5. So all that action trying to clear Kobler is just up in front of him. As they get to 1 and 2, you see Kaler and Schulenberger up there. Someone gets into the wall. The 5 was slow, I think, because he got pushed up into the wall. And then Moody, with nowhere to go, just gets a massive piece of the 5. But I think that incident actually may have started higher up with either Kaler or Schulenberger. We'll have to see. Kobler was side by side with Carter Copini at the time. Oh, and Copini puts the 5 up toward the outside wall. And then both the 58 and the 7 get a piece of them. The last, 3 green flag laps we just had, crazy amount of playoff implications between Stagey and then Kobler and Sanchez, and now maybe Kaler as well. There's a lot to try and digest here at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
You can see just a huge hit to the back end of Kobler. And I think a couple things to note. We had some takers for pit road right before that caution happened. So we're going to see some guys lose out ultimately. And I think Flint Holterman, was pitting during the time of that. I don't know if he got out on the lead lap. But Sanchez, as you see here, one of those cars taking the pit road. Oh, before the caution.
Sanchez was actually coming down pit road before the caution came out, and just bad timing. Just a tough break for the 26, who will be scored now. Still 1 lap down. So with this pit cycle, Producer Christian, if we could bring up the live points as they run. As they run, Edward Sanchez still has a narrow hold on that final playoff spot, 5 points clear of Andrew Stagey, who's also scored 1 lap down right now. Unfortunately for Bryce Kobler, I do believe his chances are finished as of that incident. He got towed back to pit road. He is out of the vehicle, I believe. And that may be it for the 5. Edwin Onofre still in the hunt, but would need, I think, a few more things to fall his way to have any sort of chance moving on. Where things get really interesting is Alif, Sanchez, and Stagey there. Particularly Sanchez and Stagey. Both of those cars 1 lap down, and the gap between them, only 5 points. Well, Brad, hypothetical situation for you here. Just under 40 laps to go. You've just come down pit road, and this will likely be, barring another caution, the last time you need to stop on pit road at any point for tires or fuel. What is the approach here in the closing 40 if you are not on the front? Do you try and make it happen here on the restart because it's the only time people are bunched up? Or do you think 40 laps is enough time to try and save the tires a little bit early in the run and then go in attack mode in the final 20 laps?
Well, honestly, I think with these top two of from Ball State, they are no matter how long they're on these tires, they're going to be fast. So I think if anyone behind them has a chance, they have to take it within these first couple of laps because we've seen Muhammad Ali always have great long pace run. Same with Daniel Nanny. So these two cars, I think, are going to have to they're going to have to lose that lead within the first couple laps here if anyone else wants a chance.
Well, the pace car going to peel off down pit road. Alif and Nanny going to lead them to the restart zone. And we are racing once again at Darlington. Side by side here between Schulenberger and Kaler for third. Now 3 wide. And I think Jake Cummings just got them both. What a move from the 95. Edwin Onofre into the top 5 as well. The North Texas machine thinking it's go time, trying to get up to the front of the field. Look at him go.
And we talked about it. He's going to need a lot to happen to go his way to get into the round of 8, but he's trying to do his part right now, sitting in 6th, eyeing up Brandon Schulenberger for 5th, but the caution is out, actually.
Oh,
again.
Caution out again. Things look a little tight here with the 099, the 13, and the 121, but I'm not sure if that's where the incident was. Real quick, while we're sitting here, do we have a second to look at the live points? Because I've just received word that Mario Miranda just got disconnected due to packet loss. I'm curious to see where he's scored.
See Aiken, Lamar, Lucas Moody right now battling, going through 1 and 2, I believe. Lucas on the inside. That's actually 3 and 4. Now coming into turn 1 and 2. See Clint Halterman also in the picture along with Jason Wallet. In door to door, some great racing. And then that was some net code.
That was some gnarly net code. Oh my.
I mean,
that's bad. That's rough.
Super unfortunate for Moody. I mean, I don't even think they were even somewhat close to each other. That was just kind of Aiken hit the wall, and then I guess, Jesus took the wheel and said, you know what, Lucas is getting caught up in this too.
So let's take another look at this here. You can see the net code in this case is if there's a contact between two cars when the cars aren't actually making contact with one another. And right about... Yeah, those cars did not make contact at all. But netcode sends the 13 headlong into the fence. But for as good as things were for the playoff drivers in the opening stage, Brad, I think for almost all of them, things have fallen apart here in the past 40 laps.
Yeah, it just, nobody, I think, really, the only person that hasn't really gotten any problems is Muhammad Ali, Jared Kaler, and Jake Cummings, who's always
Kaler got a piece of Capini when he got caught up with Kobler. So you might be right. It might just be a Leaf and was it Wings maybe? Onofre?
Yeah.
The list is small at this point. Looks like producer Christian taking one more look here to see what was up with the 121, and got a shot from Ryan Whitlock. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I don't think so. It just looked like the 121 was slowing up, and the 81 was just trying to get out the way. But heavy contact between those two. But that does restack the field again with Alif and Nanny the front row. Kaler, Shula, Viton, and Belicki, Wallet, and Lamar. Your top 10 and the points as they run. With Miranda suddenly disconnecting due to packet loss. And that incident there, that cut line even tighter now. If I'm reading that right, producer Christian, is that saying a 3-point gap between Sanchez and Stagey? A 3-point gap separating Edward Sanchez and Andrew Stagey. Sanchez back on the lead lap. Stagey, the first car, 1 lap down as they run.
I mean, Alex, right now, I think if you're looking back through this field, do you think Cummings or Kaler have anything for either of these Ball State teammates?
It's tough. The only car who I had really seen contend with either of them all day was the 89. Now out of the race. It's tough to it's tough to gauge because we've seen Kaler fighting so much for that 3rd, 4th, 5th position. We're curious here. We saw the big move the 95 made on the previous restart. Does he try that again here against the Ball State drivers? Pace car peels off. It'll be 31 laps to go here when they retake the green flag from Darlington. Alif and Nanny back into the restart zone. They will jump on that throttle, and here we go once again. Alif gonna lead him through turns 1 and 2. Cummings jumps up the 3rd. And the field, really for the top 10, already single files out. Looks like Wall and Belicky going to go door to door here in 3 and 4, as is Vitanen and Onofre. The 199 trying to put on a late surge to the front.
And Brandon Schoenberger got a little loose coming out of turn 4, but still able to stay side by side with Kaler. Door to door going through 1 and 2. Onofre trying to line it up, and he gets contact from Garrett Whiten.
And Onofre's around. And into the wall he goes, the 199, and Andrew Burrell plows through Wesley Shaw.
Huge contact after the fact.
Well, for as green heavy as the opening stage was, we have gotten a bit of yellow fever here from Darlington. That is the 3rd one in just a couple of laps. And that one, with more major playoff implications, caught an Onofre.
Back to the battle we were watching, and it happens right behind there. It just looks like Onofre gets a little touch from Garrett Whiten. Jason Wald, unfortunately, gets stuck behind Onofre as he's spinning. But then there's just Wesley Shaw and Andrew Burrell just absolutely clearing house.
We'll take another look at this. You just see how tight things got up front, and then nowhere to go for the 55, getting a piece of the 199, and just gets up. And you see Wallet was trying to get on the brakes, but nowhere to go. And then the 121, heavy contact with the 73 and the 76. So a lot of cars caught up in that one.
It's kind of funny to watch the entire field do like a serpentine around them.
Well, with 28 laps to go, this race has really kind of changed the complexion multiple times over in the past few laps. Just when it looks like someone was getting some momentum, an incident would catch them up, and they'd fall back through the field. So while we have a second, let's try and do a quick rundown of playoff drivers are in the field, because I think that's worth highlighting here, because they were all in the top 12 to start this race. That is no longer the case. R. Muhammad Alif, leads, and with a win here today, would punch his ticket to the round of 8 by nature of that win, if he's able to hold on to it. Jake Cummings currently runs 3rd from Converse. He's already locked into the round of 8, though. Jared Kaler for UNC Charlotte runs in 5th at the moment. He's trying to keep himself up in that spot. It's been a decent points day for him so far. He's just trying to close it out that way, and if he does, he should be able to advance. Same deal with Clint Halterman, who currently runs in the 8th position, also for UNC Charlotte. Behind him, Lucas Moody runs 9th for Ball State. Then you get back to Edward Sanchez, currently scored in 11th, trying to rally his way back to the front after going a lap down when he pit right as that first caution came out. He's back up, though, to P11, and currently the last driver in on points as they run. Edwin Onofre runs 13th, even being a part of that previous incident. There's the North Texas machine. He is also the last playoff driver on the lead lap. Andrew Stagey runs 17th as the first car, 1 lap down for Ball State, trying to will that car that clearly has seen better days, trying to will this thing into the round of 8. And then the last playoff car, I believe still on track, is the 89 of Mario Miranda, who has just come back from that connection issue, although he has scored 10 laps down as they run. So barring a caution here that takes someone out, I do not believe he'll be advancing any more positions. And it's just trying to make sure no one from behind him leapfrogs in front of him. Bryce Kobler, Drew Williams, both scored as off the track right now. So the playoff field very much spread out. If we could, one more time, throw those live points up on the screen, just for the folks at home to get a gauge. That's how close the cut line is right now. If a Leaf wins, he's automatically locked in. But Sanchez and Stagey continue to be that cut line. Only a few points separating them right now. There's something to keep an eye on here as we are about to go racing once again from Darlington. Green flag back in the air.
Leaf again gets that great jump going into turn 1, leads the field. And you'll see Jake Cummings is now trying to get the 2nd position from Daniel Nanny. They quickly close up the R. Muhammad Ali's back bumper.
Oh, the 89 was sideways as you see Cummings and Nanny door to door, banging each other through 3 and 4. Brandon Schulenberger trying to get in on the mix as well, trying to get past them both. The 95 and the 30 were just absolutely wailing on each other, those corners. A little bit more contact between the two. The 30 got big time loose. What a save from both drivers. What a duel. Man, they were almost, I mean, they did everything but wreck each other there, Brad.
Yeah. A lot of skill to keep it forward, and you see Brandon Schulenberger loves it as he's able to break his way into the 3rd position. Cummings is trying to regroup now, try and rebound, get past the Wingate machine that currently took his 3rd position for the moment.
So Leaf continues the lead over Daniel Nanny. Schulenberger, Cummings, Kaler, the top 5 when the dust settled temporarily. 23 laps to go. Jake Cummings taking a peek to the inside of Schulenberger there, trying to see if there was any room to go. Not that time. For Brandon Schulenberger, though, this is about as good as he's run all season. He's up 15 spots from where he started, running in the 3rd position with a chance to try and take the lead away. He is right on the heels of Daniel Nanny here in 3 and 4, who is trying to track down his teammate in a Leaf for the race win.
And I think Schulenberger's trying to get all of the good he can out of these tires now. You don't have as long as a sprint. You know, it's a sprint. It's not a marathon to the end of this race since all of these cautions have happened. So they got some fresh tires, and Schulenberger's using the best to his ability and trying to use them wisely.
And you can see all 3 of them nose to tail through turns 3 and 4. Jake Cummings trying to add himself to the mix as well. 20 laps to go now from Darlington. Alif and Daniel Ney, the two Ball State drivers, have put on an absolute clinic at the front of the field today. They've led just about every lap. Actually, I think basically every lap. They have been the dominant force from the drop of the green flag, and now it's just a matter of 10 they close it out. Schulenberger right to the back bumper. Nothing going, though, in 1 and 2. Kaler gonna maybe take a peek to the 95 here down the back straightaway.
Ooh, looks like Aiken Lamar gets a little loose out of 2 as you see Brandon Schulenberger really eyeing up that inside of Daniel Nanny. I mean, he is using everything he can to get out of it, get everything out of this car. It's just Daniel Nanny's not leaving him any opportunities.
Daniel Nanny, always a very difficult driver to pass, especially at a track like Darlington, which is a very tough place to make a pass. Brandon Schulenberger finding that out right now. He's trying to figure out what he can do to get that Ford Mustang into P2. And every time they go on by the flag stand, the urgency will rise just a little bit more. Still 17 laps to go, but at the pace they're running, that is less than 10 minutes if this stays green. They are really moving at a high clip right now, so there is not as much time as you might think. You can see the freight train of cars all the way back to Edwin Onofre in 10th. That is this lead group that is separated a little bit. $15 now to go. Alif continues to hold a bumper lead over Daniel Nanny. The 12 trying to get back to the round of 8. He was a Championship 4 contender a couple seasons ago. Now just trying to get back to that spot once again, to have another opportunity to fight for that championship. Nanny runs second, trying to win Darlington for a second straight season. Brandon Schulenberger looking for his first ever Garage Shop College Cup Series victory.
And as all of this has been going on, two cars that have made their way up into the top 10 that we haven't really seen in the top 10 is Landon Veliky in 9th, Aiken Lamar in 10th. Aiken started back in 29th position, so he has made his way through the field. As we see a car get really loose out of 2 back there. I couldn't tell who that was, but I think, yep, Jason Drexel car, machine of Jason Wallet possibly. But there's a lot more battles here as you see. I believe this is Logan Smith, Jordan Byers. Jordan gets into the wall a little bit.
This is quite the battle, actually, just outside the top 10. You see Logan Smith there, Jordan Byers, Kelton Quick, Jason Wallet, and now a big move from Ryan Whitlock trying to look to the inside of the 76. That is for 15th. Jordan Byers would make 14th if the 81 can hold it here on the inside. I think we've said it a couple times here tonight, but no matter where you look, there's a great battle going on as Sanchez and Halterman door to door right now. That is the battle for 6th. Edward Sanchez trying to hold on to the 8th and final spot to advance to the round of 8.
Whoa, a little sandwich into the wall.
77.
And Halterman's
and
not
a
going to be
tap
happy.
from the 13. Nobody giving Halterman any breaks, and I can imagine he is not very happy.
Apparently, I mean, our top running alumni has gotten a little, taking a little abuse from these students that have been putting him into the wall. He's going to try and recollect himself and get him back up to his UNC Charlotte teammate, Jared Kaler, but Edward Sanchez is now between the two.
Yeah, that was a daring move from the 26 and
Oh,
got a
look,
piece of the 077. And Halterman actually going to be coming down pit road. That might have had something break when he got a piece of the outside wall with some help from the 26. And Halterman going to drop all the way down outside the top 15, along with Andrew Burl here. And if he were to stay in that spot, how does that affect the live points as they run then? Because that is a lot of points that Halterman would have just forfeited. So Halterman, by courtesy of those stage points, looks like he'd still be in good shape. Alif with the win would advance, so Sanchez still about 12 points clear of Stagey, but boy, that is definitely not what Clint Halterman wanted to see. Here with such little time left in this race. Under 10 laps to go. And the 3-car battle at the front has become a 2-car battle. Muhammad Alif, Daniel Nanny for Ball State have been running lockstep ever since the green flag flew once again with 23 laps to go. I mean, wherever the 12's gone, the 30's been right in the shadow.
And you could just see the big gap. Really, if Brandon Schollenberger wasn't there, it would be a massive gap back up to Jake Cummings. So these two Ball State cars have got it going, have found out something that the rest of the field here hasn't got going through this final stage.
Next time by, it'll be 5 laps to go. Here comes the battle for 5th. Jared Kaler in the 58, Edward Sanchez in the 26th. Both of them should be good on points if these results hold. But just because we know that up in the booth doesn't necessarily mean those on the track know that as well. 5 laps to go. Kaler, Sanchez, nose to tail in 1 and 2. The 26 got right up to the back bumper that time. Will he have something to do with the run here this time around? Doesn't look like it unless he's going to force the issue in 1 and 2 again. We've seen the 26 has been more willing to do that than anyone else in the field tonight.
Oh! And Edward gets a huge hit off of the turn 2 wall. Definitely going to leave a mark on his car. As we're looking back through the field here, Aiken Lamar and Logan Smith battling for 10th. As you see, Garrett Vighton is also in this fight. A little 3-car tango.
Yeah, sorry, the 55 had to get way out of the throttle to try and not get into the back of either of them. He had the run. They both got loose, and he had nowhere to go and didn't want to run anybody over. The 099 clips the wall again, and now Vighton going to take away.
Two laps to go. They're trying to sort it all out back here. Jumping back up for the battle for 5th between Edward Sanchez and Jared Kaler.
Yeah, and this is all back behind Brandon Schulenberger for 3rd. 3rd through 6th, all kind of lockstep right now. 95 with a good drive off the corner. Might have a run here for his former teammate as they make their way to 3 and 4. Cummings in purple, Wingate's Brandon Schulenberger in white. But the white flag's in the air, presented by the Maconi Setup Shop, your homes for setups, paint schemes, and more. And up at the front of the field, it will be Muhammad Alif, who is going to get the job done here tonight. And he is going to win the race at Darlington. He will win the Centennial Challenge 201. And he will lock himself in to the round of 8. And that might be the most emotion I have ever seen on the face of Muhammad Alif. That is a psyched up driver.
Absolutely. He is pumped for this win. And I mean, Daniel Nanny did a great job as well. Those two were the fastest cars all night, most consistent, and you can see the pure relief from our Muhammad Alif now after that amazing 150 laps of just pure, fast, consistent speed.
A great drive from him. Daniel Nanny going to bring it home second for Ball State, and Brandon Schulenberger going to outduel Jake Cummings for third. What a drive for the 7. Picks up the podium here tonight. Jake Cummings, Jared Kaler, your top 5 as they finished across the line. Points being calculated right now. But they're going to burn it down on the front straightaway. A relieved-looking Alif, as all of Ball State burning it down on the front straightaway. What a burnout. What a team burnout. The entire squad out there, except maybe Ben Neller, if he's still on the track. I'm not entirely sure yet today. But look at the amount of Cardinals out there all celebrating that. You can tell that they're happy for their captain. So with that, we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, interviews with our podium finishers, the results of tonight's race, who advanced to the round of 8, and more. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. Compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. It's 9-position clutch, allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
They can't see it unless you show them. Your work has a real impact.
They talk to me as if I was their sister or mother. They're the ones that kept me alive.
You make a difference in people's lives.
Jails, institutions, and death is not my way of life anymore.
Together, we'll show them who you are.
What do you want to do? What do you want to learn? How can we help you?
You got to love yourself, man. You got to tap into what makes you who you are.
Because your story matters.
Welcome back, everybody. It is closing time almost here for Darlington Raceway. The Centennial Classic 201, presented by Weston Video and Media, has just come to a close. What a battle we saw for drivers trying to advance to the round of 8, but ultimately, from below the cut line to winning his way in, Muhammad Ali gets the job done tonight for Ball State. He'll punch his ticket along with 5 other drivers who we'll get to in just a moment to advance to the round of 8, courtesy of his win here tonight. Daniel Nanny led just about every lap in the first stage, but he'll bring it home second tonight, also for Ball State. Brandon Schulenberger, a great run for him, had to hold off a host of playoff drivers to hold on to that top 3 spot tonight. Jake Cummings from Converse, Jared Kaler from UNC Charlotte, 4th and 5th. Edward Sanchez for Baruch. Edwin Onofre for the University of North Texas made it 4 straight playoff drivers, 4th through 7th. Landon Velicki, a great run tonight, Auburn in 8th. Lucas Moody for Ball State in 9th. And Logan Smith for Auburn in 10th. Triple top 10s for Ball State, double for Auburn.
And in 11th, we have Garrett Byton from Arizona State University and Aiken Lamar from Howard Community College having a great finishing tonight. Brian Whitlock from the University of Alabama Huntsville finishes 13th, and Jason Wallet from Drexel University finishes 14th. And Jordan Byers from Penn State Barron finishes 15th. Andrew Stagey, another Ball State University car, finishes 16th. And the 71 of Zach Tallman from the Pennsylvania College of Technology finishes 17th. Clint Halterman, who we saw go down pit road late in the race, finishes in 18th for UNC Charlotte. Wesley Shaw from Texas A&M University Texarkana finishes 19th, and rounding out your top 20 is Ethan Decatur from Valparaiso University.
In 21st tonight, it will be Kelton Quick for Ball State, Nick Stockner for Clemson in 22nd, Clemson's Andrew Burrell 23rd, Mario Miranda with some connectivity issues made him finish 24th here tonight, Bryce Kobler for Emory and Henry finishing 25th after a great start to the race, Carter Capini 26th for Paul Smith's College, Andrew Williams for Clemson 27th, Logan Harpine for ETSU 28th, with Esteban Munoz 29th and Roger Primo in 30th.
And rounding out your field tonight, Ben Neller from Ball State University finishes 31st. Nathaniel Crone from the University of Toledo and Devin Defoe from the University of Arizona all end up 32nd and 33rd.
And with that, we are going to be heading down trackside to talk to our race winner here tonight. Joining us up here in the booth, it is the driver of the 12 and Muhammad Ali. Joining us now, Alif, you've got a copy.
Yep, I can hear you.
Well, I think we saw more emotion from coming across the checkered, the start-finish line tonight than I think I've ever seen in a CIL race from you here before.
You guys got that?
Yeah, we cut to it just in time to get a little bit of that. Clearly, you were pretty pumped up, and I mean, why wouldn't you be? A great night for you, locking yourself at the round of 8. A great night for Ball State with 3 top 10s, including the 1-2 finish. I guess I'll start with you individually here. Talk to us a little bit about your race tonight. and what went right because you were up at the front the whole night.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had qualifying pace, I think, around the ovals. Always had there, but race pace is something that I never truly had to grasp. But I think we unlocked something, or I unlocked something within myself to kind of take care of the tires. Put into practice, and then obviously put into the race, and I mean to have held off Mario and Daniel throughout the race, I think was amazing. Just really very clean race. No, I hit the wall like once, I guess, once or twice, which was because I forgot it was turn two. So yeah, it happens around
Easy
Darlington,
mistakes
right?
to
So
make at Darlington.
yeah, so yeah, I mean overall still very clean race. Yeah, extended the tires. I didn't expect we would go 70 laps that first stint. So yeah, overall just very pleased with my performance, with the team's performance. Just looking to see what's up with Andrew's point standing. I know Lucas already made it in, so yeah, huge win for us because I think we were in a must-win situation going into the next round of the playoffs. So having missed the road course, you know, that I was supposed or I was expected to win. To come to Darlington and to win it at the Oval is I feel like that's the best thing the scriptwriters could have written. So all thanks to God for that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say it was truly a real script moment. I feel like I mean I don't think it's a secret that anyone who's seeing the way Road Atlanta was run was expecting you to be at the front of the Watkins race. Obviously, you weren't able to make that, but to come back here, get it done tonight, and because I am a nerd when it comes to the history bit of it a little bit, I'm gonna dial it back a couple of seasons. You were running second, battling Connor Levy of Arizona State at this very track a couple seasons ago. Made that move in turn 3 and 4, going for the win. Didn't quite work out then. This time around, though,
Yep.
able to actually get the victory lane and become the first school for Ball State to win multiple races here at Darlington.
Wow, that's
It's
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a cool little factoid to throw out there. But do you feel like, especially with the team's performance tonight, do you feel like the time that y'all have put in really paid off here? I mean, 3 top 10s. I want to say 4 top 15s, maybe. I mean, it just across the board seemed like a really good run.
100%. I mean, it's not just the time we've put in the last 7 or 6 days. It's the time we've been putting in since the start of the season last year. We've just been consistently working towards our goals and just consistently working hard. I think that's what I always told the guys is that you work, even if you don't get the result, you still make an improvement. I think that's the result that you guys saw is just the culmination of months or years of hard work coming to fruition. So yeah, super proud of the team, super proud of the Oval guys. I think for you know yeah that amazing performance. I think Daniel as well. I want to give a big shout out to him because he um, has been battling um, some issues, but I'm so super proud of him to have come back from it, gotten over it, and then now put in a super strong performance. I mean, I think he could have won as well. So that's how fast he was. He could have won, but I think playoffs and everything kind of took precedent there. So yeah, super proud of him, super proud of the team, and yeah.
All righty. Well, Leaf, congrats on the win. Big time. Now you get to go to the round of 8. And next week, I believe, is Phoenix, a track that you've also historically done really well at. Is that something that you're looking forward to, or is it just, was clearing this hurdle at the forefront and not even focused on that until you got through tonight?
I mean, I've been taking it one race at a time. Well, I didn't even know it was gonna be Phoenix next round. So so yeah. Now just putting my mind towards that, and then trying to keep the momentum, but also just learning more about myself, more about the ovals. I think it's a great discipline. Having raced in Formula cars last week in Spain, and then to be able to jump, I think you just learn so much more about yourself as a driver and about the car. So yeah, I learned a lot. Tried new things this week, and it paid off. So yeah, so looking forward to that.
It certainly did indeed. Great win for you tonight. Great effort from the team. anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here tonight
Yeah, the
before I
whole
let you
Ball
go
State.
celebrate?
Yeah, whole Ball State Esports. I think you guys can see over there. That's the whole team. Say hi, guys. There's Nick, was our old academy drivers, and Kelton, Luke, Andrew, Lucas is there, busy with points. There we go. He made he made it into the playoffs as well. So we in that run 8, boys. Yeah. So sorry for the year rate viewers. But sorry for the yeah. Sorry for damaging your speakers. Yeah. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah, super proud, and the whole organization here, Dan and BK for their support. My family back in Singapore, and big thanks to the one and only God. So
alrighty, well, Lee, thank you so much for joining us up here tonight. Congrats on the run. Great effort. Can't wait to see what you and Ball State have cooking up here in the round of 8. So excited to see what y'all have in store next week.
thank you. See you guys.
And that was race winner Muhammad Alif picking up the victory, his second of the season after winning Road Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. We're going to jump a little further down pit road to chat with his teammate here for a minute. Brad is catching up with the driver of the 30.
I am down here with Daniel Nanny. A phenomenal race, Daniel. First off, it was you were very consistently fast tonight, you and Muhammad Alif. Can you take us through your mindset through those closing laps?
I got to say that I actually had a lot of fun tonight. Especially leading the first 70 or so laps. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, overall, it was a fun race. There was a lot more green flag racing than I expected. So yeah.
And you seemed to put on a defensive clinic. It seemed like whenever somebody was trying to get around you, had absolutely no, like, there was no difference in how you're driving. You were stone cold, just fast and furious. Can you tell us, like, some of the skills and your consistent, what's the right word I'm trying to say here? But
yeah, well, the most important thing was keeping the tires on the car. It's a tricky track to navigate around, and being able to keep the tires on the car while going fast. That is a whole nother deal. And yeah, I knew once I messed up my pit stop on the first caution, it was gonna be hard getting around Elise and Miranda before he got disconnected due to internet issues. So yeah, I just knew that if I just stayed behind them and just count my moments and hope that the tire fall off was enough. But unfortunately, I did burn off my tires at the end, trying to defend my second position from Jake Cummins on that last restart. I honestly thought I was gonna get wrecked, and thankfully nobody wrecked there.
and thankfully so. I mean, especially the second half of the season, we've seen you and Ball State seem to turn it up a notch and really show the speed. And really, you guys are starting to become dominant as the season ends here. How do you guys look forward into these next 3 races of Phoenix, Bristol, and then ending it out at Vegas?
Well, I think we're just gonna continue doing what we're doing with the weekly practices, and since I wasn't racing over the last few weeks, I've been putting more time into helping them off track and helping them prepare for the race, and I feel like Elise did a very good job on that. He honestly outpaced me there, and I was very impressed. And he deserved that locking into the final 4. So yeah, I feel like we're just gonna continue working on practicing with the next week, Bristol.
Next week is Phoenix.
Okay, then yeah, we just continue practicing there as well. And then especially for the All-Star race that will be coming up here in the future week. So that would be a lot of fun, and we're all looking forward to it.
And before we let you go here, is there anyone you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, obviously I got shout out all the Ball State boys, especially Lee for winning the race. He put in a lot of hard work, and he's been a huge inspiration not only to me but to the entire team throughout the last 2 years or so before I even was at Ball State. So yeah, to give a shout out to all them, and gotta give a shout out to my parents for supporting me on this journey, and I gotta also shout out all the admin for being really good tonight, and I hope we can build momentum as a lead moving forward, and hopefully have a great race. Have a great race next week.
Thanks again for joining us, Daniel, and we hope to see you up here again next week at Phoenix.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
And that was your second place finisher, Daniel Nanny from Ball State. I'm going to send it back up to Alex in the booth with our third place finisher, Brandon Schulenberger.
Yeah, catching up here, jumping on board with the 7 of Brandon Schulenberger. Brandon, you got a copy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome back to the booth. We've missed you up here. It's been a minute, but what a drive from you today. 18th to 3rd, holding off a whole bunch of playoff challengers when it mattered most. Talk to us a little bit about your day. It seemed eventful.
Yeah, I hit the wall on my third qualifying lap, which is always your fastest, so I kind of instantly put myself on the hole. And I honestly wasn't feeling very confident coming into this race, but Jake always tells me this is one of my best tracks, so I kind of instantly just went into a little bit of tire saving mode and, going off of last season with a lot of green flag runs, and it really worked about from a lap 50 to, I guess, lap 65. I finally cracked that top 10 and felt like I was about to get right around Moody, and then that caution came out. But both of our pit stops tonight, we made 2 or 3 spots each time, and that was great. Qualified third, and I guess that second to last restart, and Jake set it 3 wide on the bottom, which I wasn't expecting. So that completely caught me off guard. And then restarted that last restart in fifth, and or I guess it wasn't the last restart because me and Kaylor fought really hard on, I guess would have been the second or third, whatever, last restart, and we were able to get around Jake, and I knew it was going to be such a tough battle to try and get around Nanny in the Leaf, and I had a feeling Nanny wasn't going to race the Leaf too hard, knowing the circumstances. So I was just hoping if I sticked close enough, Nanny could make a mistake where I could prevail, but eventually it hurt me in the long run because I just burnt the right front off the car, and I knew Jake and Edward and I think the 58 of Kaylor was coming too, and if the race was 1 lap longer, Jake would have definitely got me. He might have cut me a little small break going into 3 and 4, but I think tonight it was probably one of my best drives I think I've definitely had in CIO.
Yeah, I mean, it was an impressive one to watch up here in the booth. It kind of snuck up on us a little bit because the opening stage was such a green flag run. I mean, you were doing a lot of your passing, from like 18th on up toward the tail end of the top 10. So we didn't get to see a whole lot then, but we got to see a whole bunch of you battling up there toward the end of this one, which was a ton of fun. Talk to us just a little bit about, the season as a whole. Obviously not fighting for a championship this year, but it feels like every couple of weeks you've got a car that's up there with the best of the league. Is that something that is just a good track fit, or is it just a matter of trying to get a little more consistent week in, week out?
I mean, I think it's a combo of both, to be honest. I think I'm very confident when we come to these mile and a halfs, to be honest, like Darlington, Kansas, even Chicagoland, I was confident. But I think a lot of this season, for me, to be honest, has been survival. We were sitting so pretty with 2 races to go in the regular season, and I went from being 10th above the cut line to kind of just needing to survive to I didn't finish that second to last race, and then got wrecked out at New Atlanta, and even went to the Glen and didn't finish that race either. So that was just 3 races in a row that was just not able to finish, and kind of took a big toll on the confidence, to be honest, because I was really confident that I was gonna make the playoffs this season, and after New Atlanta, I wasn't sure if I'd see a podium this season, to be honest, especially after how hot we were in the second half of last season. It felt like a really disappointing season, to be honest. So today definitely makes up for some of it. Obviously, we're not racing for a championship still, but getting a podium at least kind of heals some of the pain.
Yeah, I mean, always fun to have a nice, good drive like you did, especially when you get to go through some of the best in the field to do it. Brandon, obviously, not the win, but a step in the right direction for you and the Wingate team for sure. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to y'all first just for doing this week in and week out. It's always a pleasure to be able to go back and watch these. Shout out to the girlfriend. I know she's watching. Shout out to my dad too. Usually he watches a lot of these. Gotta shout out the Giga Chads, Jake, Garrett, and Edward. They're also great ball of fun to have around when we're doing these races. Um, yeah, and just thanks to the whole CIL for always making this happen week in and week out.
Alrighty, well, Brandon, thank you for joining us up here in the booth. It was fun to watch you go to work tonight, and hopefully, come next week at Phoenix, we get to chat with you once again.
Yeah, I hope so. Appreciate it, guys.
Alrighty, that was third place finisher Brandon Schulenberger for Wingate University. I believe their first podium of the season. And that brings us to our final conversation of the night. A bit of an odd one, given the circumstances, but we are going to be chatting with alumni winner Edward Onofre here in just a moment. Was a 7th place finish for him, but it was the Alumni Clash win, and Brad has caught up with him now.
I have made it down here with Edwin. We saw him before the race, and he is back again with us in the booth. Edwin, first off, we saw that you had a little bit of an incident towards the back half of that race and around 40 laps to go. Tell us about how you were able to rebound back to that 7th place finish.
So what I did was not go to pit road because I was fortunate enough that even after the collision into the wall, Jason Wallet was able to slow down the car enough to not warrant that as a meatball. And I do appreciate that for Jason Wallet. But yeah, the car felt fine. Not even any steering damage, it's just a little bit of fender damage. That is what happened right there. So I said, okay, I'm not going to pit road. My tires are a little cooked after that spin, but it should be fine just as long as I don't overdrive it. And then I went from, where was I, 13th on that final restart to 7th. That was a major drive I did right there. I don't know what happened. It's like the car came alive all of a sudden. Maybe I should be hitting the wall more often at Darlington so that way that can happen. But yeah, that wasn't very easy either. But I just wish I was not involved in that wreck earlier that we had with 40 to go. I think top 5 would have probably saved me into getting to the playoffs. But either way, that's just how it ended. That's just how she wrote.
And unfortunately, I mean, we had 11 of the 12 playoff drivers all starting in the top 12. And it seemed like through that first stage, it was just a battle to try and pass anywhere. What was your mindset really through that long green flag run and really the entirety of the race to try and conserve tire and try to set up some of these passes?
I was very fortunate that there was a long green flag run, which is what I really appreciated from the rest of the field, doing very well at that. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. I thought I was saving my tires to the best of my ability, but no, I tried every line and it just was not working out for me. It was not clicking out for me. And I was disappointed I was not able to get a top 10 for the stage points right there. So yeah, at that point, I was just wanting to cruise along for the rest of the race, and that was just pretty much it. Really, just cruise along. I was at least faster than some of the drivers who were pushing it too hard, but it wasn't enough for me to make it to the round of 8. I needed to have like top 5 pace, and at a track at Darlington, it's very difficult to do unless you know how the car will respond to that. And tonight, it was just not clicking for me for the first few laps that we had for the entire first stage.
And then going into Phoenix and Bristol here, 2 short tracks out of the playoffs. But what is your mindset going into those 2 races? I mean, obviously, it's going to be a tough one with all these guys, coming back in and all of them having to battle for those 4 positions in the championship. But what is your mindset going into those races?
Yeah, they're in the playoffs. They have their own race. I don't need to be involved in that. So if they're able to be faster than me, I'll just let them by, not waste our time. I would like to win it or at least try to maximize my points for the end of the season. That's going to be my goal overall. Just try to maximize my season standings. It doesn't matter where I'm at right now, win or lose. It just try to finish it out to the best of my ability. Just represent UNT, represent Vortex Motorsports. Just drive it home. That's pretty much it. I'm okay It's no hard feelings, but it was a good battle right there. It just did not work out in our favor.
And then before we let you go here, Edwin, how do you have anyone you'd like to shout out?
I'd like to shout out Vortex. Thank you so much for my teammates who are very great competitors and very tough competitors too. We do have 3 of us representing the round of 8 currently. I appreciate them. Shout out to my family. Thank you so much for everything that they have done with a lot of immense support and continuous support. Shout out to you guys for continuing with the broadcast. I hope it made it fun for you guys to watch tonight. I had fun too. And shout out to all my non-sponsors, but all my brands that I'm using: Aces Tech Sim Sports, HyperX. I don't know, this water bottle if keep me hydrated. But yeah, and that's it. That's it. I gotta say. But thank you guys so much for having me for this interview.
Hey, not a problem, Edwin, and have a great night. And we hope to see you up here again next week.
We'll see how it goes. But thank you so much. Take care.
You too. And that was your alumni winner, Edwin Onofre from UNT. And we're going to send it back up to the booth with Alex.
And that is going to cover our race here tonight from Darlington. The Centennial Classic 201, presented by Weston Video and Media, is in the books here tonight. What a race. What a battle. And now we can take a look at our super unofficial points of who advanced to the round of 8. I say this because there will still, I'm sure, be some penalties and appeals to work through. But as it stands, courtesy of his win, our Muhammad Ali will leapfrog this group to jump up there with Andrew Williams and Jake Cummings as those who have won to lock themselves in. And those advancing on points, Jared Kaler, Lucas Moody, Clint Halterman, Mario Miranda, and Edward Sanchez will be the ones advancing, which means, unfortunately, tonight, the 4 drivers whose championship hunts have come to a close here tonight are Andrew Stagey, Edwin Onofre, Bryce Kobler, and John Hagan. But for now, 8 drivers still remain. The 8 you see on the top of that screen there will be battling for a championship still. And that picks up the round of 8 next week when we head to Phoenix Raceway for the first race of the round of 8, November 11th, 8:30 p.m., right here on the CIL YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed, you should definitely do it. We're almost at the end of the season. You got to see how it ends. So this is the Garage Shop College Cup Series. This is where race 11 will be happening next week. But if you don't want to wait that long, we've got 2 more series racing this week, Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. It is race 10 of Formula College's season at Interlagos. That is November 6th at 8:45 Eastern. And returning this week for its 3rd race of the year, it's the Collegiate Sports Car Challenge, November 7th at 8:45 at Watkins Glen. So 2 more races this week before we get to our next CIL Garage Shop College Cup Series race. You'll want to catch all the action right here on the CIL YouTube. But that is going to do it from Darlington here tonight. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Hope you all had a good time. And for now, we will catch you at Phoenix. Thank you to the CIL staff. Thank you to all the racers who made this one possible. And of course, a big thanks to producer Christian Hill, co-commentator Brad Daniels. I've been Alex Gagnon saying thank you and good night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. Compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
They can't see it unless you show them. Your work has a real impact.
They talk to me as if I was their sister or mother. They're the ones that kept me alive.
You make a difference in people's lives.
Jails, institutions, and death is not my way of life anymore.
Together, we'll show them who you are.
What do you want to do? What do you want to learn? How can we help you?
You got to love yourself, man. You got to tap into what makes you who you are.
Because your story matters.